Hey, how's it going?
How are you?
I'm pretty
What am I
good.
doing?
No, I said how's it going?
Oh, how am I doing? I'm doing pretty good too.
It's good.
I'm
You
kind of
said
high.
that's all good. You said your day was hectic?
Yeah, I've been like running errands all day. Well, I've been not home all day.
Oh
So
man. Yeah, those days are
that's the
tough.
difference. Yeah. I booked a flight to LA today.
What? For what? For fun or
Yeah, I'm gonna go see my friends, and it's my first time there ever.
what? Yeah, it's always crazy going somewhere for the first time.
I feel like I've been there though. I don't know. I feel like growing up, I always I don't know. I guess I visualized or imagined how it would feel like to be in LA because of like
Ooh.
Hollywood and like acting and all of that. I want to be an actress so bad.
That that's gonna be an interesting new perspective, you know? 'Cause like
No, for real.
the expectation and then like the reality of it. I went there um once, one time, and it was on a road trip that I tell like too many people. But like I had mixed feelings. I need to go again though.
Yeah, I have never been. So you said once?
Yeah, one time. If you're going to meet up with the homies, it'll always be amazing. So you're gonna have a good time.
Yeah. I feel like I'm gonna get to see I guess, because whenever you went, did you go as like a tourist or like you try to see like feel like a local there? Because I feel like when I go, I'm gonna feel like a local because I'm gonna do local things with my local friends that live there.
Yeah, that is the best way. Like I was a complete tourist. We hit all the tourist spots, and then like the tourist people are just like horrible. They're
Mm.
just like they're too much. Everyone's like running around and trying to steal every moment they can. And it's like relax.
Yeah, I couldn't tell. I wouldn't be able to say anything, but from what I hear, also actually like the people that move to LA or the people that are from LA apparently are rude. So I just feel like LA is
Oh
a
yeah.
complete different scene. I feel like Houston is a mix of like LA and Miami.
LA,
And I've never
Miami.
been to LA, but I've been to Miami. So I feel like because people around me have gone to LA, everybody has gone to LA apparently, except for me. And I've gone to Miami twice. So I feel like Houston is like obviously right in the center too, like if you look at the map, but energetically I feel like it's a good
Houston
mixture of both.
Houston does have a little bit of the California-ness to it. Like I haven't been there too many times myself, so I couldn't really say what California is like. But it's similar to California in the way that like everyone says that people from there are like nice to you in your face.
Mhm.
And then they go off and say whatever the hell, whenever they're away. And Houston can kind of be similar, but because of that whole Southern hospitality type thing.
True.
Uh, yeah, and like New York, everyone's like fucking very transparent. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, I feel like people in New York just don't have the time to like be nice.
Yeah, there's too many people, and I'm just now realizing it. Like I made a tweet a little while ago that basically said like New York is basically like Omegle or chat roulette, but like in real life.
What? Yes,
And
I
it's
get
really
that.
like that. You run into so many people. People are like, all right, like, well, what do you have to offer? And then they're like, next. But
Quick.
hopefully I can get around that. I don't like that.
Yeah. I wonder how long have you been over there?
I've been here almost like 9 months, maybe, since
And it's like
September.
is your first time living there?
Yeah, yeah. I visited one time for like a weekend.
Oh wow. And oh wait, so prior to you living there, you only went there once?
Yeah, just one time.
Wow. For one
Yeah.
weekend?
Yeah, just one weekend. It was weird. And then like, yeah, I ran into it was a huge change. Sometimes I try and downplay it, but like, yeah, it was weird as fuck. It kind of threw me off my whole thing. And then the winter was like too cold.
Mm,
But now I'm kind of getting my bearings, I feel. It's been bumpy, but um learned a lot about myself from just
I
like
bet.
being away from like my comfort zone, you know?
Mm,
Uh yeah, thank God for decent personal habits to help me in that direction, you know?
yeah. I've never been to New York either, but I really want to go to. There's like I don't know, I've always wanted to go to LA and New York because those are like the most common places to go to or whatever.
Oh
But
yeah.
I feel like I feel like divine timing will do its thing. And I was supposed to you see like I was supposed to go to LA last year for the first time, but instead I went to Miami and then I got another opportunity to go to either LA or Miami and I still took Miami's opportunity. So now like I have somebody that low key helped me buy my flight because they really want me out there. So that was a blessing. And I hope and I feel like it'll be the same thing with New York. Like I know that I'll go to New York with more intention, not just to like go just to go. Although me going to LA is very much going just to go, but like it feels more like there's a mission there and that's just to have fun or like just experience like yeah, I feel like now that I've done more personal work here, like where I'm at, I've kind of understood more of myself and like what I do in, I guess, my scene, like my
Mm,
career path. I feel like now I have more of an intention to go to LA or New York. Like it's instead of like, you know, compared to 2 years ago where I didn't know where I wanted to go or what I wanted to do. I
you
feel
do a
like it's
lot of
much.
stuff though. I honestly don't even know what you do. I'm curious.
I know, dude. Everybody, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I feel like right now
No, it's
I'm
a good thing
just
always.
literally, yeah. I used to feel like it was a bad thing because I could never focus on one thing. But I
Same.
realized that it's just, I need to just shift like my perspective on that. I'm just trying different things because I'm young and like I have these opportunities and resources to do so. And I feel like it's kind of our duty to follow what we feel is for us and not like stay with one, I guess, medium or stay with one job because that's risky at my age. I feel like because then I'll get stuck there, and then you know as I grow, it's harder to get myself out of those situations or those like yeah that lifestyle or that mentality. So I feel like it's very important for me to continuously like try different things whenever it feels right, and of course. The things that are meant for me are going to stay consistent throughout my life, but I also understand that it's definitely like a wave at the
No,
same time.
yeah, yeah. Like any person, which is like it's sad that not enough people realize the importance of the or just an idea that everyone has like the thing or things that they're just like they have a natural inclination for. You know, like
Mhm.
your soul like wants to do like a thing or a couple things and people don't really like take the time to look for it. You know, everyone like I mean, and of course the way things are set up, you go to school, you have to like choose your major or else you're fucked. You know, and it's like 18.
Yeah,
What do you want? You know, and then that kind of keeps people from getting into the habit of like looking or having like several things that they're interested in. You know. But yeah, what are what? Oh no, did we pause? Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's gonna happen a few times. My Wi-Fi is trash.
It's mine too, probably.
But yeah,
Oh,
what are the things that are capturing your interest right now?
um, mm, well, I wanted to add on to like what you said before about
Oh
how like
yeah, go
whenever
ahead.
we go to college and there's like, we have to choose a major or whatever. You said how things are set up, and that made me think of like also the system, how things are set up. Like we don't have the opportunity to fully like immerse ourselves into our passions because, well, I speak for myself and for like the people around me, and I'm sure you can understand too, artistically it's kind of hard sometimes to like pursue what you're really passionate about, whether that's
Mm,
probably, I feel like mostly it's because of lack of, or depending on what type of community you're in, like your background, or like all types of minorities kind of get that disadvantage. And yeah. But what do I like to do? What has been catching my interest lately? Um, well, this past year I've been doing a lot of PR work and marketing and advertising. And
ooh.
yeah, so I've naturally always been like I want to say like a PR representative or a PR person, like just making connections or like meeting people and being able to sustain that relationship long term. Um, I feel like that's just a part of my personality. Sometimes I'm very I'm very like picky with my time, but also the people that I know have been there for a long time and continuously support me, even if they're not like hanging out with me or reaching out to me all the time. I feel like I create a strong foundation with those types of people, and eventually like I feel like I just catch on to certain people's, I guess, vibration, or my spirit kind of matches with theirs, and I allow for universe or divine timing to do its thing, and then like ultimately I end up working with them in some way. And I've noticed that I have been doing that for like my whole life in a sense, or I guess that's just kind of how I see my connections. Like I feel like they're like, I feel like any interaction that I have is it's like an exchange of goods, or it's like there's a word that I use and I'm having a brain fart, I can't remember it, but it kind of may sound ignorant, but it's like I value the exchanges of energy that I create. So naturally like I'm paying attention to what energies I want, and then ultimately like yeah, everything kind of just like falls into place. But yeah, anyways, for the past like
No,
two
yeah.
years I've been doing that after moving in to like my own place with Floor, and like separating myself from living with my mom. I feel like I learned so much about who I am and like just my personality, who I am spiritually, energetically, my personality, all of that. And I kind of tied my spirit to like my career path. And I recognized that I naturally am a PR person, or I naturally am inclined to just strategy. And I really like to look into systems and how they work, and like also doing research on like history stuff and how that worked to understand why we are where we're at now. And I feel like that can apply to, that applies to marketing and PR, because there's different strategies that we're creating to get a message across. And yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I'm
marketing.
fascinated by PR and advertising for sure.
Yeah, marketing is crazy, you know, 'cause like you really have to have a decent understanding of how people work to be able to be good at that stuff, you know? 'Cause otherwise, people who are disconnected don't like marketing is all about, values. And you
Mm,
were talking about the whole uh being good at like exchanges that you have with people, and you were talking about the value exchange, the energy exchange, and that's something that's like extremely important for like I don't know delivery, you know, because like yeah, a lot of people don't really think about how things come across, you know, and it's like
Right.
it's like you should, and you know,
Wow.
and like that's someone can have an intention, you know, and the delivery could be like completely different, and then it just gets misread.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Wow, you put it into different words, or like you allowed me to see it differently. And I think that I became this type of person because the way that I delivered my with my communication growing up was I was always misunderstood. I didn't know how to communicate my needs properly. So naturally I was driven to like structure my communicating and my writing and stuff. And I think that's why I'm fascinated by this now, because there's nothing more that I want than to like just be understood. But I also understand like not everybody's gonna understand you. It's just the people that are meant to understand you are gonna understand you. And I get that. But like growing up, that was a trauma of mine, like never being heard.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's pretty. That well, I'm not gonna say that's pretty cool, but it's good that like you know from that like you kind of moved in the direction to I don't know be better. There's this book that I got that I love so much and I recommend it to everyone, and it's basically about that. I'm gonna pull it out and flash
Yes,
it
please
at you.
do.
Where is my bag? All right, so here she is. Source Code by James
Wow.
Hillman. James Hillman is a crazy ass dude. Basically, the book is
He's a sicko.
what's that?
I said basically he's a sicko.
Yeah, 100%. Like somewhere in the book, he's basically talking about how there's a way to look at development that's like in like kind of a spiritual sense. It's not really like super scientific, but it's a positive alternative way of looking at like compensation, you know? So instead of thinking it as like, oh, I was bad at this whenever I was younger, so I had to compensate to become the I don't know businessman, you know, the independence,
Mm,
whatever, you know. Instead of thinking it like that, it's like you were brought into this world and your soul had like an intention, you know, and maybe your weaknesses were in a certain area so you could work towards what your real intention was like supposed to
yeah,
be,
like
you know?
yeah, that's insane. Like what so that you can focus on like yeah, where your intentions are supposed to be, which should be also your passions, because that's what's
Yeah.
gonna like give you the most fulfillment when you well, I think I understood that differently. You said
No, you were on the right track.
yeah, no,
No,
just
yeah.
don't mind me.
Yeah. Yeah,
Don't
but
mind me.
that stuff
I
is
think I think it's important to pay attention to like in order to understand what you're meant to do or like be able to be compensated. This is what I understood. In order to be compensated for like whatever you feel you deserve, you really have to pay attention to like what your soul's purpose is and like again like I said like your personality because that ties into your soul purpose.
no, yeah. And a lot of I don't know. People don't really give themselves enough time to like really watch themselves outside of like who other people think they should be, you know? Uh because they never really spend any time like, you know, questioning like who the hell am I outside of what my buddies, you know, expect me to be or what my parents expect me to be and stuff like that. And that's why like what helped me a lot was like moving for one, and well, that helped me after the first one, but first one was like the pandemic, which is
Mm,
crazy, you know. Of course it was like terrible, and it's still kind of happening, you know.
mhm.
But that was like a huge amount of time for everyone to just be like, everyone was like, all right, there's all of this bleak, reality around us. Like, am I spending my one life doing what I like to do, And then people were
Yeah.
just like, oh shit, I'm not. And then a lot of people quit their jobs, started pivoting towards like the real thing, and it made some positive impact on people, but hopefully it lasts longer than, all the tragedy that's happened or is happening.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like, I mean, no, I have many thoughts right now. I can't even speak.
So one thing that I remember you used to do, I don't know if you still do it a lot, but you used to like do a lot of tarot card stuff.
Hmm.
I'm just
Yeah,
recently getting fat into that, like huge into that.
really. What do you, hmm, I feel like a lot of people have a misconception on like tarot readings and tarot cards. But also, I guess it's to each their own. Everybody like perceives everything differently, and that helps people differently. Um, I don't offer my services like that anymore. That used to be like my main source of income at one point whenever I had first moved out of my mom's place. I was fully relying on like my entrepreneurship work, which included tarot readings, and like I did photography here and there, and I got into Reiki.
I have no clue what that
And
is. I'm not there yet. Yeah.
Reiki energy healing. It's basically like a form of manifestation with your hands. It's, yeah, it's just another form of manifestation for healing. And I guess that's kind of the same as tarot readings. Like,
Hmm.
I feel like anything can be a form of manifestation for healing. That really ultimately is like prayer, meditation, like just writing, setting intentions in any way. I feel like is a form of healing. So that's kind of how I feel about tarot cards or tarot readings. For me, I mean, each tarot card has a different definition, but each card like represents something that is relatable, and it targets different areas of our lives. And so I know that a lot of people have like they think that tarot cards are going to tell you your future, or this is what it is, whatever, but at the end of the day I feel like it's more of a self-reflection time, because
Yeah.
whatever is going to be brought up is going to relate to you in some way, and it's going to force you to reflect in that area of your life. And there's always room for us to be better. So I feel like ultimately any tarot reading should allow you to feel like you're have a clear understanding of what areas like you need to do better at or something. It's just more of like a reminder, and different. And of course, if you have like a spiritual if you're like spiritually inclined, obviously tarot cards, you feel you may be able to connect with different types of entities, but at the end of the day, that's also like something that I feel kind of makes people have misunderstandings on tarot cards. Like, people are afraid of these things because you're allowing different spirits in, but it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
these spirits are just your thoughts.
Yo, this is true.
These spirits are just energy. It's what you allow or don't allow. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's
So,
how I feel.
yeah, and that's like the stuff, That's the juice. Like originally, originally I was like so freaked out by that stuff. You know Monica, right?
Yes.
Monica has an
Yes.
aunt that is like she is like the most crazy tapped in to the unconscious. She's just like a
Mhm.
wizard, you know.
Mhm.
And Monica's always like, "Oh, get a tarot card reading from her," and I'm like, no, I'm like, why would I do that? And then I got a reading from her, and it was just like this crazy thing, and she was digging deep, and I was how the fuck like did any of that just happen? And
Yeah.
I looked into it, and what got me really interested was the fact that it was like a thing of like understanding the subconscious, you know? And like
Yes.
all the stuff that's deep down, the stuff that kind of shows itself to you whenever you have a dream, whenever you like are really tapped in, like you can, I don't know, use these tarot cards as a means to like, I don't know, they kind of act like just symbols that you kind of like project onto, you know, and
Mhm.
you can really tell a lot about what you're thinking from like pulling a card,
Right.
and you just sit it down and you're like, oh, okay, like this card, what thoughts does this bring out? And then
Yeah,
you can kind of like talk to yourself in that way.
for
That's,
sure. And
I was
also,
like, whoa.
also like you said, the symbols, it's like the artwork in the tarot cards. A lot of them, I mean, there's different ones now, but like there's the original designs. They all, obviously all the other ones that were like redesigned have the same energy to them. And
Mm.
so like you said, the symbols, aka the art that is on the card, can say a lot too. And like that's also a form of like creativity, because you're kind of, I guess, figuring out what that card says by what you see on it, like what you see visually and what the colors are saying and all
Ooh,
of that.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
something that a lot of people I think people need that. Like not specifically like tarot cards, but just like like understanding symbols,
Mm,
like their own personal symbols. Basically just like what things mean to them. You know, because a lot of people don't
right.
really care about that stuff. They don't think about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like a lot of, also there's, it all depends on how, again, going back to what you said, how the message is delivered. Like
Mm.
tarot readers have different understandings on tarot readings, and so they attract different types of people. And so if you attract somebody who's like yearning for help, and that person may fully rely on what you have to say to make decisions on their life. And sometimes that can go wrong because maybe the person who is giving the tarot reading has, an understanding of tarot cards in a more like, in a more 3D aspect. So that's how kind of people be like getting controlled by spirits, or like they don't
Oh
have
yeah, yeah.
an understanding of who they are, or like you said, they're not paying attention to what these symbols mean to them. But also, sometimes they can't understand what it means to them because the person who's, relaying that message to them is, possibly giving the message, delivering the message in a way that doesn't feel like you can give it different meanings.
Yeah, it's like in a code, or like it's coded to the person who's listening, you know?
Mm,
Which is like, I don't know. Yeah, and that's crazy what you said. Like, if a person takes like a reading from someone who gives them like a reading, like if they don't know who they are themselves, then they could get swayed by whatever it is that reading could have been, you know? And
mhm. Yeah,
that's like unintentional projection, you know, or whatever
right.
the inverse of that is. I don't know.
Yeah.
How'd you get
I don't know.
into it? Do you have all the cards? You memorize the cards or like? Okay,
Yeah.
how the fuck do you do that? I'm trying to like,
You
I'm
want me to
trying to
give you a
count
reading
every
right
day.
now?
What?
I mean, we can
Yeah,
give we can give the room a reading.
yeah,
So
yeah.
okay, I used to give these like provide these services to people. But then I was too afraid of like people taking what I had to say like too literal or like make decisions based off what I said. And that's why I would always emphasize on like how I see tarot card readings as.
Mm.
But at the end of the day, it really felt like people were fully relying on what I had to say. And I didn't want to risk that. Like I don't wanna I'm
Oh wait, you broke up a little bit. Wi-Fi. All right, we're back.
Oh my god.
How long were you going on for?
Okay.
The
Huh?
last I heard, the last I heard was that you didn't want to give the readings anymore because you were afraid that people would take it the wrong way and run with it somewhere.
Yeah, so yeah, that's why. And I realized that there's better ways for me to deliver messages.
Oh, Texas.
We're back.
Yeah, we are. All right, back where we left
Okay.
off.
Um, yes.
The
So, yeah, there's a better way to deliver my messages.
I'm kind of
I
curious.
feel like,
What
can
is
you
the
hear
better
me?
way? Yeah, yeah, I can hear you.
Because you're frozen.
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Uh, what? Oh, I froze for a little bit. Um, the better way, I mean, I did. Okay, so how did I get into tarot? I mean, I was just genuinely curious. I got into like zodiac signs and astrology, and then I got into tarot, and then I understood it all differently. Like, there's also a whole another misconception on like astrology charts and all
Oh
of
yeah.
that. And I feel like, again, that's another form of like, it's just another way to like trigger different areas of your life that may need help or not necessarily may need help because we can trigger any area of our life if we wanted to, but there's certain things that happen in our lives, including astrology charts, including tarot readings, that help us trigger up areas of our lives that maybe we didn't think of before. um so I feel like I got into tarot and I wanted to just help people better understand themselves, better understand what they're meant to do, and give them like the confidence and faith in themselves. Like I did readings so that people can self-reflect and so that they can trust their intuition and be guided by their intuition, not for me to guide them. And so then I noticed, the way that other people give readings and like the misunderstandings around tarot and like how people perceive readings when they get readings, and then they like may have some sort of, I guess, just weird intention. And I just realized that I can share these messages through my creativity, through my hobbies, and whoever is meant to hear what I have to say, you know, it will be heard. So like I said before, like whatever I, you know, whatever you're meant to hear, you will hear. Whatever I'm meant to, everything
Don't break up. Oh, you gotta keep some people off. Oh, the printer. Alright, so I took another thing off the network. We should be good, hopefully.
Yes,
Oh,
it's okay.
Rumi got home. That's probably what it is. Gotta tell him to get off the Wi-Fi. Alright, but
Hop off that Wi-Fi.
yo, the truth. Gotta get off the Wi-Fi.
Hold on, I'm gonna use the restroom. How long are we gonna be on here for?
Maybe like, so the first 45 ran up. Maybe like 15 more. Can you hear me?
No, maybe like how long?
Maybe 15 more minutes.
Okay.
Did you get that?
So
15.
yeah, maybe it's also my Wi-Fi. I'm like downloading this YouTube video, but it just finished downloading, so
Hopefully that works. See what King says. Ain't even on it. Oh, he's not on the Wi-Fi. Am I back? Can you hear me? Okay, sweet. I'll say 15 more minutes.
So okay. So you want me to give you a reading?
Yes, I would be honored.
Okay, can you give me 1 minute because I need to use the restroom?
By all means.
BRB. Ooh-wee. Welcome back. I need to get the cards.
What was it called? Launch what? Launch party.
So the thing is, I have so many.
So many cards?
So many decks.
Why do you have so many?
Why?
Mhm.
Because I because every deck, like, I have different designs. So every deck's design, one, it helped me better understand the meaning of each card for what it was
Mm.
without the visuals. And secondly, I mean, yeah, I studied different designs of each card. So like it also gave it a different feel. It kind of also, depending on where I was in life, like looking at these cards, depending on which design it was, like I understood it differently. And so it was really just so that I can continue to study the cards.
Whoa. Before you start, how long did it take you to memorize them?
I mean, I'm still memorizing them. I'm still
Whoa.
understanding them. But
I'm doomed.
I feel like every I feel like that's what it is at the end of the day, tarot cards. Like it's gonna mean something different to everybody all the time, every time, depending on where you're at in life and why you're getting the reading or,
uh,
you know, so so that's why I say like I'm still understanding them because they can bring about a different feeling whenever I, pull them now compared to like literally just 2 weeks ago, I could have had a completely different understanding of what this card meant to me. Of
hmm.
course, there's like the actual meaning of it that helps you, but you use
That's
that
not the
as like
plan.
a starting point. Yeah, you use the definition as a starting point and you kind of like decide what it means to you depending on where you're at, depending
Yeah,
on your
yeah.
mindset. So, but I mean, I started tarot in 2019.
2019. Oh, so it's been a sec.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I started like three months ago, and what I've been doing is I try and pull a card every morning and write down like what it means, and that's
Mm.
it. Uh, I write it in this little notebook right here. Got a couple. All right, well,
I can't
you can
see.
see.
But it's
Oh,
super close to.
there we go.
Wow. I did that too. I have a journal with different readings. What was the card of today for you?
It's the Four of Pentacles.
Four of
This
Pentacles.
guy's
You
stanced
see?
up, looking. There we go.
Yeah. Yeah, I have that deck, the classic.
Yeah, yeah. Everyone's like, "Oh, let's go too," and I'm like, "All right, sure thing."
So what did you understand? What did you get from that card?
So let me look at it. So what I get from this one is a little bit of greed on this guy, because he's really gripping that thing, you know. And then there's the buildings in the back that makes me think of like foundation or like structure, you know. But I mean, maybe like not wanting to let that go, or like not wanting to. Yeah, that's what I'm getting from this.
Yeah, greed is typically like the first thing that comes to people's mind. But you see, you can also understand that differently. It could also be like protecting your resources
Mm.
and protecting your energy, protecting
Whoa.
the things that you hold value for, you know?
No, yeah, yeah, yeah. And you saying that's like it's relevant. It's relevant too. Very relevant.
Yeah. And I feel like every card has like a positive and a negative meaning to it. So,
Yeah, that's the upside down and the right side up.
mm.
I've only been looking at the right setups, but maybe
Oh
next year I'll get to the
yeah.
the reversed ones.
But even then, even the upright and reversed, I feel like they still have both positive and negative meaning.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
cause
kind of no, yeah. I mean, 'cause
because that's
like
it's very limiting to think that if you get an upside down card, like your life is fucked. Like that's
yeah,
not realistic, you know. It's more about helping yourself.
yeah. I mean, the reverse is just the tough pill to swallow. But
Mm,
it's good.
definitely. Well, look, I have two decks, and I don't know which one you want to use. There's this one.
Whoa,
It's
that was intense. Oh, that's that artist.
uh-huh. And then there's these.
Holy shit. That is intense.
I also have another, but I think these are good.
I'll go with the second one. The second one looks crazy.
Yeah, this one is crazy. Oh, oh, oh.
Oh, what happened?
I dropped the top.
Oh, can't drop the top.
Mm-mm. So I haven't done a reading in a minute. Actually, somebody reached out to me for a reading not that long ago. And I'm willing to do readings for people that reach out to me for it.
Oh, okay.
Depending like if I have the time.
Wow, so this is legendary right now.
Is legendary. So, I mean, what do we wanna do we just wanna pull a card? Like just whichever card comes out?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty general.
Okay, a general reading. How do you pull your cards?
I shuffled it one time, or it was like it was a process because I didn't commit to actually pulling the cards until maybe like 2 weeks after, but I was just kind of like playing around with them, gradually shuffling them. But I have them by my bed, and I just like yank one off the top every
Mm,
morning, and then I just slide it under, the
nice.
old one under.
Yeah. So we got the Hangman. Have you gotten the Hangman?
Ooh. No, I haven't gotten that one yet.
So the Hangman represents like seeing a different perspective. Like
Hmm.
kind of like how we said upright and reverse. It just gives you a different perspective of like a message. So the Hangman is just I mean, it can mean anything depending on what you're trying to focus it on. It's just kind of a message to try to see things from a different light and or maybe do something completely different or the like completely opposite from what we would normally do or stepping out of the box to like allow ourselves to see different things or also sometimes when we're going through changes we feel like we're hanging upside down, like we're seeing things completely backwards, but it's just us seeing things in a different light. So, yeah, that's what I get from the Hangman.
I'm liking that.
Yeah.
That also kind of pairs along with a re- recent thoughts. But yeah, that's good.
So I'm looking at the key terms. It says pause, surrender, letting go, new perspectives. The Hangman reminds you that sometimes you have to put everything on hold before you can take the next step, or the universe will do it on your behalf. You may have heard the saying, what got you here won't get you there, and that indeed is at play in this card. The Hangman calls you to release the old mental models and behavioral patterns that no longer serve you so you can see your world from a new perspective and embrace new opportunities that would have otherwise been hidden from you if you didn't hit the brakes.
Ooh, interesting. Because I actually am going on a vacation on the 26th, 28th, something like that. I'm going to Haiti, and usually I hate traveling. I'm very much so a person who just likes to stay put. I hate feeling like a tourist, and I like working a lot. And I caved to to go over there. So we'll see what that's like.
Yeah, is
Hopefully,
that
I don't come back angry. Yeah, new perspectives.
yeah, definitely. I mean, if it's new, it means there's opportunity there for something different.
Amen.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, thank you so much.
Yes, of course.
I appreciate you breaking out the old tarot cards
Hmm.
and for talking with me.
Of course. Thank you. I appreciate the warm energy and for breaking these bad boys out because it's been a minute.
Amen.
Yes. I hope you have a good rest of your night.
Likewise. You have
Yeah,
a great night, great rest, and all the above. I'll see you later.
for sure. Bye.